Hello and a very good evening to you and welcome to the new Century Hall here in Manchester for the start of the 1996 Embassy World Pool Championships. Now over the next 3 weeks here on Sky Sports you can see 22 hours of world-class pool. We'll be showing you coverage of the ladies singles, the men's singles and of course the team event. Now 16 nations have made it here to Manchester this year and 2 of those countries are making their debut in these championships, and that's Portugal and Wales. Well, today we kick off with the first semi-final in our team event. It's Australia up against last year's runners-up, and that's Ireland. Our commentator for the tournament is Mr. Jim White, but first let me hand you over to our MC for this evening, Mr. Alan Hughes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to welcome our officials first, the timekeeper Ron Madden and your referee for the match, Jason Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, let battle commence. The opening match from Ireland, the coachman Thomas Kinsella against the ace himself, Alex Everandis.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First frame, Ireland to break.
So we kick proceedings off here in Manchester with the team event, and that translates into the pressure cooker. You're not playing for yourself now, you're playing for your country. There'll be 8 pairs of eyes in the form of your teammates watching every shot you play. That's Thomas Kinsella representing Ireland. He's the one broke off, saw a ball go in, so he's got an open table. This is our first semi-final, and it pits Ireland against Australia.
Yellow ball's in play.
This is going to be a best of 27 affair, a race to 14, and each country represented by a 9-man team. The team event here will start the 1996 Embassy World Pool Championships here on Sky Sports. And right now, Thomas Kinsella looking to get Ireland off to the best possible start, and there's those interested eyes I was alluding to.
Seconds remaining.
Didn't finish ideally on a yellow. Can he get through to this long one? Oh, good shot from Thomas there. We haven't seen anything of his opponent. That's Alex Everandis right now from Australia. He's one of the bankers on the team from down under. And there's his side. But this is really a great start from Thomas. He's not given the Aussie a chance to reply at all. These team championships really are about cohesiveness. And really, who better qualified to help me along in the commentary booth with this than the England team manager, Alan Bartlett. And Alan, this has to be a real boost for the Irish team watching their man Thomas Kinsella play like this. In goes the black, and it's over now in the opening frame. Tony still has to develop the awkward reds before he can try and go for the win here.
What the wing commander will be looking for is the first opportunity to get off the top cushion and bang away that one bad yellow. And then he'll be flying.
Wanted to try and get that red out, didn't he? The double kiss on the cue ball didn't help.
He'll be quite pleased with that. The next time he bumps it, it will go over the pocket.
Thirty seconds remaining.
A real tactical battle that's developed here in this, the 9th frame. We've seen all representatives of both teams now.
Thirty seconds remaining.
And it's 5 frames to 3 in favor of the Aussies.
Two visits.
Well, Tony's given 2 visits away there. I'm not certain that was the correct choice of shot. If Russell can knock this yellow out, he's then got the chance to drive it down into this bottom corner. Tony was in complete control. He didn't need to panic. He could have played the loose red at the bottom, at the top of the table as we look. He doesn't like long games, Tony.
Well, that could be a bonus. Still got his 2 visits. Looks like he might be entertaining thoughts of trying to develop these 2 yellows right now.
I think he would knock the red in if he did that. And now's the shot. He may be looking at just bumping 1 yellow out, or he could be going for the big Evo. Here we go.
That's unlucky, Alan.
2 visits.
Now 2 visits to Tony Holgate. He was doing it all right, and then the plane crashed.
It's good night, Eileen, now.
Yeah, 2 visits, as I said, and I really can't see a player of Holgate's ability missing from here. He probably won't even need the 2nd visit.
Probably.
No problems. The Irish captain helping his side to stay in it. They still trailed the Australian team by 5 frames to 4. 5-5. Nothing easy about this. It's 1996 Embassy World Team Championship.
Foul. 1 visit.
First semi-final looks like it's going to go right down to the wire. It's got all the makings. Now, will it live up to that advanced billing? Australia's Jack Halligan. Cue ball in hand. But off the break, a foul does not constitute 2 visits to the incoming player.
Yellow ball's in play.
But it does afford him the opportunity to be able to choose his color.
We would expect Jack to take these out, give Australia the lead. All the way through this break, obviously he'll be making sure of the pots. But what he's going to be trying to do is leave an angle on his second last yellow, which is the yellow which is on the left-hand side of the black. He'll want an angle on that yellow to be able to run forward to get the bad yellow near this bottom cushion. He's taking it out now. He's got good position. This is missable.
I'm not sure I like the way he's gone about this either, Alan. Could have made it easier.
Good enough.
With the shot selection there, a little suspect.
That could fall in at any minute. The pressure's really on Michael Fortune.
This was so close. Still looked like it was going to drop. Now will the yellow balls from the Australians have one more chance to find the pockets? Or will the Irish player, Michael Fortune, keep Jack Halligan in his seat?
Well, that's not perfect.
Michael Fortune lost his first frame. That was a miscue. I think he can get through to this yellow over the bottom right.
He certainly can.
That was a very costly miscue, I think. Just the yellow and black. Jack Halligan with a perfect record, 2-0, and he beats Michael Fortune from Ireland, and Australia leads 6 frames to 5.
22nd frame, Australia to break.
It's Mick
10
Delahunty,
frames,
the
11
Australian
frames, 10.
captain, against Tony Holgate, the captain of the Irish side. It's 11 frames to 10 for Australia. The nerves are starting to get a little frayed.
Yes,
And it's crunch time now. This best of 27 semi-final.
Reds nominated.
And the Reds nominated by Mick Delahunty.
Red ball's in play.
The experience of the Australian captain certainly needs to be called upon. And right now, given the position of the Reds that he's on, doesn't appear to be any obvious problems.
And how important the break is. Once again we see a player looking likely to take the frame from the break. 14 of the 21 frames before this one have gone with the break, which is a 2/3 majority.
And right now, Mick Delahunty couldn't have asked for a better time to break and clear up. He overhit that one slightly. This black to go 12-10 in front. It's there, but only just. And Mick Delahunty has taken the Australian side 2 frames clear. They want just 2 more for a place in the final.
Twenty 24th frame, Australia to break, leading 13 frames to 10.
And it's really crunch time now for the Irish team. Avellino de Freitas for Australia breaking off here. They require 1 more frame with a possible 4 to play. This is the 24th frame of a best of 27. And for Ireland, all hopes rest on Paul Heaney to stave off elimination.
Red ball's in play.
This is Poole's version of the Ryder Cup. Our first semi-final.
This is the key shot. And he hasn't got it right.
And the look on their faces really says it all. He hasn't finished on the red.
He's looking at the double to the middle. I think he'd be better off just to nudge the red towards the pocket. And now,
Yellow ball's in play.
chance for the Australians to take the match. Portugal played in this World Championships this year. It could be left to a nationalised Australian from Portugal, Avellino de Freitas, to take the Australian team into the final.
They're hoping this is the last frame. playing the percentages.
The captain certainly liked it.
Total snooker.
Irish hopes arrested.
30 seconds remaining.
Foul.
Well, he didn't
Two
fancy
visits.
getting out of the snooker. Now, can Avellino put this yellow ball into the bottom corner pocket and leave himself with 2 visits?
Second visit.
Well, he'll probably never play a bigger frame. The Australian captain, Mick Delahunty. And that
Foul.
is disaster.
2 visits.
You've got to hit a cushion after contact. Now 2 visits to the incoming Irish player. And what's more is that looks like a foul snooker, so he's going to be able to take the cue ball and place it anywhere in the balk area. A real mental lapse from De Freitas there.
Certainly was. But this isn't easy. You must concentrate on this pot. The white will go to position anyway. Once again, he needs this one in 1. He could snooker himself if he leaves it over the jaws. He's used his 2.
Second visit.
This black to keep every one of the Ireland team alive and kicking.
And this is tough.
Greg Farren, one of the rocks on the Irish team. I'm sure a little disappointed that Paul Heaney couldn't polish it off there. But 6 yellows remaining, and a couple awkwardly placed. Made sure to hit a cushion that time.
Total snooker.
This isn't a difficult snooker to get out of. I believe he can get out by hitting the left side cushion.
Thirty seconds remaining.
Must watch for this ball to go wide. It might come behind the black.
Foul.
He had his chance when he had the 2 visits previous. And now you have to think he won't get another one. Delahunty just letting a few supporters know exactly how he's going to go about it. Having the 2 visits at hand.
All he wants to maintain is his 2 visits, the yellow ball on the right-hand side cushion.
Might not need the second visit. That was a great yellow from De Freitas. 2 easy pots away from a place in the Embassy World Team Final. Just this black then. And the lid's on it. Australia has defeated Ireland by 14 frames to 10. A terrific victory for a worthy winning side. So it's the holders England versus the challengers France. England in the form of Jason Twist. Jason, the runners-up in last year's singles event in the Embassy Men's Whirlpool Championship. Of course, an integral part
Red ball's in
of
play.
the England side. They've virtually owned this event. Won it the previous 3 years and have to be considered strong favorites once again. It's reds in play, as you can see, for Jason. And this is our second semifinal. It's a best of 27. The first team to reach 14 frames will be through to the final and will enjoy a berth against the Australian side. And there's the England team. A worthy team they are. Second day of coverage here on Sky Sports from the new Century Hall. There's the French team. Very formidable indeed. A good tactical shot from Jason Twist there, taking the pocket, and it's going to be up to the French in the form of Carl Badois. And I hope my pronunciation is close. A lot of these names. And it's very important for the French to get off to a good start against England. Keep them under pressure if they're to have any chance of providing a major upset. And I said that these teams vying for the right to win the Embassy World Team title against Australia, and Australia got there by virtue of a 14-10 win over the Irish team. And I've got a gentleman sat here beside me that doesn't want to be reminded about that yesterday. He's the captain of the Irish team that is now watching from the sidelines, but he's got the best seat in the house. That's Tony Holgate. And I'm sure, Tony, you have to agree that England really in with a good chance to retain the title for the 4th year in succession.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. England, for me, overwhelming favourites. Don't know if anybody remembers last year, the semi-finals were the same teams met each other. We defeated Australia last year, but unfortunately we came off second best in a rather scrappy affair yesterday. England, when they played France last year, I mean, it was so one-sided, it was unbelievable. If my memory serves me right, I think it was 14-4 to England. So I don't think France will want to start off like they did last year. They'll be wanting to get in early, get a few frames on the board, Jim. So important in these two things to get a couple in front, get a bit of confidence in the team. I'll tell you what, that was some shot from Jason Twist. What a great shot that was. Open the frame up completely. Looks to me like England are going to start off with their first win. First game of the day.
As I said, Tony, important to get off the mark. You want to get your team off on the right foot, and Jason Twist looking to do that, and they look confident. A very relaxed bunch, and why not? Good pot on the black. Jason Twist takes the opening frame against Carl Badois, and England leads France by 1 frame to 0. Well, it's a very comfortable scoreline. The pressure no longer on. 8 frames to 0. In a best of 27 semifinal. And they're really serving notice right now.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, this is England's weak player. The 1993 world champion and captain. No, I mean, how strong are they, Jim? I mean, I can't see anybody stopping them. I think it's going to be 4 years on the trot for England. What a fantastic team they are. I mean, they're showing that now. I mean, France have really come out and they weren't really up to it. I mean, they didn't seem to be motivated, didn't start cheering at the start, and they missed a couple of chances, and
Red ball's play.
I think they're just crumbling now, Jim.
This could be the best opportunity yet for France to take a frame.
Well, this is their edgy man as well, Jim. Patrice is, I played Patrice, sorry, in the round robin stages, and he had a good chance of beating me. And he was on a similar finish to this, and God knows what happened, but he sort of just collapsed halfway through it. And I thought to myself, well, it's unbelievable. You know, he just gave me the frame. So let's see what he can do now on the television. 2 shots and a fairly simple finish.
Having the benefit of a miss in hand has to take some of the pressure off him.
All I can say is if he was wearing a green waistcoat now with an Ireland badge on, I'm sure he'd miss this finish. Wonder if Patrice has got an Irish grandmother or something, Jim. Something coax him over. Yeah, we had such a nightmare against Australia, Jim. I still can't get over it, really. I'm a bit dejected here, watching this now. No, we won't be playing in the final, but fair play to Aussie. I mean, it's such a scrappy game we had. I mean, at least it's been some good finishes tonight, all from England.
Well, in all fairness, the play has improved to some standard.
I think we just spoke at the wrong time there, Jim. He's giving himself a little bit of a, what you call a little twitcher, this one. Just got to grip his cue really tight here. This is what I do on these sort of shots. Grip it really tight and keep his head down. He's done well, the lad there, to pot it. But, I mean, he snooted himself. And that just tells you the whole story, really, Jim, doesn't it?
Total snooker. Well, it's a total snooker. And obviously, if there's room between the yellow and the cushion, that's what he's going to be doing. But it's really about Murphy's Law for France right now. Whatever can go wrong will.
Well, I think Patrice is definitely a distant relative of my teammate Paul Heaney. Definitely. Poor old Paul had a nightmare. He was one of our best players in the team, and he had an absolute nightmare out there against Australia. But this is no easy shot for Kevin.
Well, the only shot is the pace of the cue ball. What a shot. I thought he was just going to try and play about a half ball, Tony, and snooker him. Tremendous shot, and he's going to have to pull out another one.
Yeah, I think he's played it on purpose there, Jim, just to leave himself a 3-cushion black into the middle pocket. Well, 8-0 up. I thought he might have had a crack at that, Jim.
Well, I wonder if Patrice is going to have a go at this double. You can certainly run with the cue ball and put some distance between 8-ball and white.
Well, maybe we'll just tap up to it like that, Jim.
Might see a little of the old tap-tap game right here.
Well, I think that's a harder shot than what he was presented with a minute ago, Jim. It looks like he might be having a go at this. No, he's played safe. That's a very, very good shot from Kevin.
Right up under the cushion.
No easy safety here, Jim.
Well, he's had a look. If it was touching, he may be tempted to try and push it right down along the cushion with a lot of side on the white. Well, how's your luck, Kevin Wright?
Poor old France, nothing going right for him.
The black goes in, and Kevin Wright takes England the first 9 frames in this match. They lead at 9-0 in the best of 27 semifinal.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Is the rot going to stop here?
Open table.
France surely can't be entertaining thoughts of trying to win this now. They're playing for respectability. They've got to try and get that score line where it looks like they showed up.
Red ball's in play.
And this man is the man to start things off. The best player on the French side.
Yeah, the French averages have really took a hiding tonight, though, Jim. That's a nice little shot that Vanson's played there. Nice control with the cue ball. If he gets rid of this ball, they're all open. And it'll be another chance for France. think if I remember rightly, it was much the same story last year when they played England. I mean, they lost 14-4, but they had plenty of chances early on, and they threw them away. And tonight they've done exactly the same. Really, for me, Jim, it's a shame, really. I mean, they have been the noisiest team all week. France have been a lot louder than, I mean, they give us a reputation of Ireland of being the noisiest team. France have been so loud this week. They've had flags waving, they've had everything. And just look at them. Motionless. Absolutely motionless. Unbelievable. There you see them. I mean, I can't, well, I've seen them all week, and they've been screaming and shouting, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. And maybe Vance ought to give them something to cheer about now, Jim, no? Great chance.
Well, it's been a good performance given the circumstances for Vincent. This black and the whitewash has been averted. France take their first frame. They trail England by 11-1.
Well, Patrice has landed absolutely sweet on the red ball now into the centre pocket. His only problem lies with the red ball that's stuck to the black. Must disturb that ball.
Well, Patrice played 24 frames in the round-robin format, and he won 13 of them. There's a little guy enjoying his candy. He just realized he was on camera.
He's trying to make hard work of it, Jim. He was in great shape a minute ago, and now seems to be struggling with his cue ball control.
Perfect opportunity here, though, to open up that red and full ball snooker behind the black.
Good job.
And if he does get a foul from Lee Kendall and 2 visits, got to believe that Patrice could clear up. Puts France's second frame on the board. Doesn't get any better than that. Might well have snookered him on all remaining 3 reds.
Yes, Jim, that was a superb shot by Lee Kendall. Great control. Knew exactly what he was doing. What a great shot.
Well, he could get through to that long red, but you'd like that cue ball to have traveled about another 12 inches.
He's going to have to nick the paint off this red. The only shot I can see is to cut back into the middle pocket, Jim.
Seconds remaining.
And now the only thing I can see left to do is to start unfastening your dicky bow. Yellow and black.
Well, I think really, Jim, France have finished just how they started.
It's there, and one of the most convincing wins in England history. It's been an emphatic punctuation to the way that the England players performed today. France can have little in response. It's been a 14-1 whitewash.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First
So
frame,
the experienced
Australia to
team
break.
from down under versus the talented title holders to battle it out toe to toe for the coveted Embassy World Pool Team Championship of 1996. It's Alec Everanatis versus Jason Twist to start the ball rolling here. Welcome to Sky Sports coverage of this championship.
Open table.
Back in Manchester here at the New Century Hall. This is where it's all happening.
Red ball's in play.
And it's England and Jason Twist in with the first real opportunity. These teams, different paths en route to this final. England, a very comfortable winner indeed, 14-1 over France, whereas Australia was made to battle it out over Ireland. In the end, they came through 14 frames to 10. And you know they're delighted to be here. They feel very good about their chances. But they also understand, as does everyone, the importance of getting off to a good start against this talented English side. That's Alec Everanatis, did very well against the Irish team. One of the strong players. Certainly one that will be counted on heavily.
Yellows to play.
Knowing these players very well, the gentleman sat right beside me himself, heavily involved in this team championship. At least you were up until a little while ago. Greg Farren, one of the mainstays on the Irish team. And Greg, you guys lost out to the Aussies.
30
You said they're going to be a tough handle here for England.
Yes, Jim, I think obviously the England team strong favourites over the years, but the Australians getting closer each year, I feel, and they proved that in the semi-final against our Irish team. A bit of a marathon, but as you know, they are here now in the final against England. I think very important on the first few frames of this match. If Australia can just take one or two of the first few frames, then it'll give England a little bit of a scare, and we could be in for a bit of a humdinger of a match.
Well, that's exactly what France didn't do. I have to agree with you. They've got to let England know very early that they're here to play.
That's right, and Jason here missed a red down the right-hand cushion, left it over the corner pocket, which is causing the Australian player a few problems, but it was a golden opportunity really for Jason to put England firmly into the driving seat and to stop Australia trying to give them a little bit of a scare. So the Australians will be happy that they've been given an opportunity to try and work their way into this match in the first frame. Jason in a commanding position at the moment with those two reds over the corner pockets. But Alec looking to double across and going off the red, which is done as sweet as a nut. And now 5 yellows left on the table. One sitting pretty over the top corner pocket. Might be a slight problem with the black in the centre of the table. The red to the right-hand side of the black. Possibly causing a problem for the black, although it does look as though the black passes through the 2 reds on the left-hand side of the table into the left-hand corner pocket. Alex sending the cue ball round the table there and landing perfectly in position on one of those 2 yellows close together.
Well, England has owned this tournament ever since it started. They've won the title every year, and they're still the team to beat.
Yes, Jim, and from the way Alex has played that shot, it's quite obvious that the black does pass through the centre of those 2 red balls into the corner pocket.
Great start this for the Aussies. If they're to have any chance, this is exactly what they need. They've got to take advantage of every opportunity, and they know it. Alec Everanatis has just staked Australia to a 1-0 lead over England in this best of 27 final.
Open table.
Watching them earlier, I know that both of them are playing some of the best pool of their career.
These are 2 very successful men at the table. Mark Goodwin has a better than 80% success rate in his frame so far during this tournament in the team event, and Mick Delahunty better than 70% success rate. Well, one of those percentages is going to fall.
Seconds remaining.
Yellow ball's in play.
That was a great opening shot from Mark Goodwin, the plant, and it's really got the yellows in a very nice position now, very enviable position. He's such a good potter. I think, Greg, you expect him to get out here.
Yeah, I think so. Just, I was just going to say, could have a problem getting onto that yellow that he's now in a sweet position on. So, running around the table a little bit quicker than he normally does, so maybe feeling the pressure as well. But doesn't look to be affecting his play at the moment. The yellow to the right-hand side of the table, nearest that centre pocket, has to have the cue ball in prime position, which deciding now that he's in prime position, so just trying to trickle that into the centre pocket and managing to do that quite nicely, and now looking very good to level the match for England.
All he's got to do is screw this yellow straight back to leave the other one into the center, and the black will be at his mercy. A very convincing visit from Mark Goodwin, and he's certainly taking the wind out of the Australian sails. The black into the pocket. He's leveled it up, and look at the intensity that Mark Goodwin is instilling into his teammates. It's now 2 frames apiece in this best of 27 final. But it's a 2-frame deficit in this race to 14. And right now I'm joined by the captain of the Irish team, Tony Holgate.
Very dangerous player, Mick Delahunty.
Red and yellow ball spotted.
And I should know, I've played him twice in the team event this year, and both times he's finished from the break against me, so I've not played a shot against Mick yet. I'm not likely to this year anyway, but no, he's very dangerous. Great player.
Yellow ball's in play.
Always unpredictable. I mean, he gets himself into some situation where you think, well, he's going to miss in a minute, and then he'll just go and pull out some big shot. Playing the right way though there, playing the
Red ball's
safety,
in play.
not leaving anything for Stacey. Keep England backed onto the ropes.
It's red balls in play for Stacey Vine. He's fluked it, or very nearly. Man, he made a quick path back to his seat. He wasn't happy with that effort.
I don't think he'll settle for it though.
Yeah, this wasn't a good effort from Mick Delahunty at all. He's a better player than that.
England just aren't forcing themselves in this match like they normally do. They're looking a little bit hesitant, and just beginning to see some chinks in the old England armour there. Not used to seeing it.
Yeah, they usually assert the authority that they've demonstrated in the past very quickly, and it just hasn't materialized so far.
I think the thing is, Jim, England are so used to steamrolling teams right at the start of a match, and they get so far in front that they don't believe they can be caught. They get an unassailable lead and away they go. But Australia have really just kept them pinned back all the way through this. I'm just wondering now if it's like beginning to tell a bit on the England players.
I wonder if he's going to try and double that one yellow back and then bump the other one over the top right.
Yes, sir. Come on. Come on.
I think he heard you, Jim.
What a finish this would be.
Absolutely fantastic shot that was. He's got a big area of space to land in here. Potting is set into large yellow.
Yes, mate. Come on. Come on, Mick. Come on.
A little bit close to the rail there. Just got to keep his head down really and just make sure he executes this shot properly. I mean, if you pull up on these, you can not screw back properly and stop the white dead or something, and you leave yourself no shot. So he's got to make sure he comes up. He's not played the screw. That's a great shot. That's a great shot.
The captain of the Australian team leading by example. The Blacks there, and for the first time in this match, Australia enjoys a 3-frame lead. Full value, it's 8-5 in this race to 14.
17th frame.
He shakes
Australia
hands
to
with
break,
Cran Wrigley,
leading 9 frames to 7.
the Australian player. Just gets a cube of chalk from one of his teammates. I wonder if it's going to be a lucky cube of chalk. He's breaking off.
Open table.
Yeah, it doesn't look to be a lucky cube of chalk there, Jim. In fact, it was Jack Halligan's chalk that he came to the table with. Good chance here for Rob Chilton, though.
Yellow ball's in play.
He's played a slack first shot by the looks of it. If you notice, all the colours are wide open in this frame. It's not a ball on the cushion. One little mistake here and Australia could be back in again. My mistake, Jim. Didn't realise he could creep through the gap from here. It looked like he was stuck behind the yellow. Still, it's no easy finish here. Still got a little bit of work to do. He's got to be spot on with his cue ball control in his frame, Rob Chilton. That's just helped his cause.
But under immense pressure. He's one of the younger, more inexperienced players on the English team. And that pressure magnified somewhat by the fact that the Reds are all in the open. And if a miss did happen to materialize, they could be plucked off one by one. So he's really got to keep his head down.
Yeah, he's a confident little fella, Rob. If you remember in his semi-final against France, he's one of the more positive players, I think, for England.
Well, that shot couldn't have worked out better. Great position from yellow to yellow. And now just needs to bump this yellow in. Natural angle to finish on the black. If it doesn't go bottom left, rest assured, you'll be taking it bottom right. Big frame it was, and a big frame he played. Well done, Rob Chilton. He's pulled one back. He defeated Cran Wrigley, and England trails Australia by 9 frames to 8.
Thank you. 21st frame. Australia to break, leading by 11 frames to 9.
Mick Macri from Australia and Jason Twist from England. Jason Twist hasn't won a frame in the final here yet. He couldn't pick a better time to do it, but it's Macri breaking off.
Yellow and red balls spotted.
Jack Halligan and Alec Everinatis. They've done their part. Won the last 2 frames to give Australia, the 11-9 lead they enjoy now.
30 seconds remaining.
Shot, man. Come on, mate.
He's played a very good shot there, Jim. Looks like he might give himself a great opportunity.
This looks like a dodgy shot to me.
Yeah, he wants to be careful, Jim. His cue ball's very close to the red. You've got to be careful of leaving your tip there and pushing through or playing a double hit.
30 seconds remaining.
Got to just try and pull that cue ball into the yellow. Did it. Got the red.
Absolutely perfect. Couldn't wish for a better position.
Looking at the long
30
red
seconds remaining.
to the top right. He's got an easy red, bottom left. The red that's going to cause the problems for him right now is this one over on the right-hand side as we look. That's the only real dodgy one.
I think he might play it last, Jim. We can just slot this ball into the centre pocket. Pots the other ball into the other centre pocket. Tries to leave himself virtually straight on that one down the rail. If he can get right up behind it, he's only got to sort of play a little soft screw. Just stun it down the rail. Even if he rattles it, Jim, he's still going to cover that bottom pocket. Still going to be in control.
Well, certainly though, Tony, if there is a stumbling block, that's the shape it's going to come in.
Yeah, he's got to make sure he gets straight on this. Doesn't want any angle at all on this. He's not done bad. He'll settle for that, will Mick.
He looks pretty calm out there, but I'm sure everything inside churning. Dead center. What a clearance this would be.
Absolutely brilliant, Jim. Well, he is their Australian champion. He's showing why he won that title this year.
Black in the pocket. It's a 12-9 Australian lead. And who could have believed it? They're just 2 frames away from winning the World Team title. They're in a state of shock, as are we. There's the score line. It's a race to 14, and that says it all.
Okay, 24th frame, England to break, trailing 10 frames to 13.
Lee Kendall from Stoke-on-Trent. A very sure stroking left-hander.
Come on, Eva.
Open
That's
table.
Abellino de Freitas. He's representing Australia. And de Freitas has yet to win a frame in this final. 0 for 2. This is his 3rd kick at the can. And a bigger frame he couldn't ask for.
Yeah, Avellino is Australia's Mr. Cautious.
30 seconds remaining.
Doesn't really like to go for the balls. But I think he's
Yellow ball's in play.
hasn't got any choice, really. I think he's made a bad option there. I'd have rather took reds there in that position. But Avellino knows what he's doing.
Reds to play.
Just a containing safety. De Freitas will be slightly disappointed not to have continued on there, but right now it's all about mistakes and how to limit them. Alan Bartlett again must have his heart on his sleeve. This will certainly be a bitter pill to swallow for Mr. Bartlett and the English side. As I said, they've owned this tournament. Keith Brewer, UK #1. He's been up against some very stern Australian competition here. They can't even sit down. Everything churning inside. Very noticeable the silence with the balls that are potted on the English side as opposed to the Australian team. Every ball that finds its way to a pocket is jubilantly rewarded.
I didn't think we'd see Lee go for the finish there. Has left anything easy for Avellino. Just wondered if he's looking at playing the yellow ball off the other yellow next to the cushion, trying to pot the yellow into the middle pocket.
30 seconds remaining.
That's an incredible attempt. That was rather unlucky, Jim, that.
Well, actually, the yellow hit the reds on the way there, so would have been more good luck than good management. But it just about worked out. Certainly, as it is, he's improved the position of the yellows, if nothing else.
Definitely, Jim.
30 seconds remaining.
He's giving himself a good shout at this frame now. That's a great shot from Lee Kendall. What a shot under pressure. I think Lee's decided, well, he's seen the yellows all in the open of the table. He's decided to go for the finish himself rather than try and play safe and maybe risk a chance of Avellino clearing.
Thirty seconds remaining.
Good, confident strike. As I said, you can't afford any more mistakes. It's all about character when you get down to situations like this. You've got to dig deep. And that's what Lee Kendall and all the remaining English players that are yet to play are going to have to do.
Maybe left a bit of awkward cue in there, Jim. I think he'll be enjoying this shot. Knowing full well the Australians only require 1 frame for victory.
And yet, Tony, he's forced into taking it on.
Worst thing is he's using his time up. He might have to rush this shot if he's not careful.
There's the problem. And there's the solution. A tremendous pot. That one got some applause. This is some effort by Lee Kendall. There's still a light in the window, and there's still one at the end of the tunnel for the English team. 13-11. 2 down with 3 to play. What a tremendous shot this was from Lee Kendall. So it's Daz Ward, the reigning Embassy champion. He needs a ball. Yellow's in.
Yellow ball potted.
The courage that England is showing right now is the reason that they're 3-time defending world team champions. But this break could prove enormous. They're fighting for everything they have. The man representing Australia right now is Cran Wrigley. Is he going to get a chance in this one?
Well, I think Dazzling Daz will want to cover the bottom right-hand corner pocket. Pretty sharpish. Covers that, and he does control the game. Not bad.
Reg to play.
Could have been better.
Well, regardless, this has been some fight back on the brink of elimination for England. And there's no reason to think it isn't going to continue. I think those are all nervous smiles and laughs.
Don't know if Cran's looking at an out there, Jim. Can he play this off the yellow and the red? I don't think he will, though. I think he'll opt for the safety.
Well, certainly he's left room for the yellow. And Daz over to have a look. He now knows that Cran Wrigley hasn't covered that pocket.
But Daz still has these 2 awkward yellows wedged together at the left-hand side of the table. That's what's causing Daz the problem now.
And that's to say nothing about the yellow, red, and black more into the bed of the table. They're awkward. Just got to be sure what he wants to do. And he's changed twice.
Good covering shot there from Cran. I feel Daz is going to bump this yellow up to the top of the table.
Well, I wonder if any of them have any nails left.
Seconds remaining.
Well, that has just changed the complexion of this frame. Great shot from Cran.
Yeah, he's certainly completely blocked Dazward up now. Got him in a lot of trouble. Dazward's going to have to play some deliberate fouls somewhere in the near future. Which ones he chooses could be very significant now on this match.
They're probably wondering the same thing. When and where is it going to happen?
Seconds remaining.
Well, the answer to that.
Foul, 2 visits.
I don't think that's what Dazward wanted. What a great chance for Australia this is, Jim. Just look at Dazward's face.
He's got to open the red up by the black right now, I think. He's going to free the black and the red. All remaining reds will be in the open. And he'll just have to complete a clearance. Here we go.
30 seconds remaining.
It's a great shot, Jim. He's given himself every opportunity now for Australia to snatch the World 8-Ball Team Championship. This is history in the making, Jim. Awesome pressure, though. Awesome pressure on Cran.
I think he might already have made a mess out of it if this red doesn't pass, but certainly one step closer to that cup heading down to the South Pacific.
I don't think it does pass, Jim. Which only gives him, well, he's got two options. He could play a very, very hard plant up into the top left-hand corner, or this shot now, which he's going for. Cut into the top left-hand corner. Big shot.
Yes.
What a great pot, Jim. That's a fabulous pot under the pressure.
Great red this was. That could lay the foundation for an unbelievable Australian victory. Steady nerve required.
Might be another twist in the tail yet, Jim. But having said that, these are real formality balls now.
It's theirs to win or lose right now. The captain of the Australian team can't bear to watch. 2 balls away.
I'll tell you what, Jim, he's made this shot a little more awkward than he'd have liked. Do you think he'll just roll it in, or do you think he might
I think he'll
jack his cue up and try and screw back for the black?
30 seconds remaining.
Wow. Close to the in-off. And the long trip. 1 ball away from being rewarded. He's done it! He's done it! Cran Wrigley has won it for Australia. It's a 14 frame to 12 victory. An unbelievable shot. Look at the Australians. What a night it's going to be now.
Well, we promised you an exciting final, and we got exactly that. Victory then for Australia here tonight. And I must say, commiserations, Kevin. The boys fought very hard all the way. You just couldn't manage to get ahead at all through that match, could you?
Not really. When they were 8-5 up and we came back, then I thought we were in with a chance. 9-all, we were back fighting. But I think they deserved to win in the end. I think they played the best pool, you know, so we've no complaints. We thought we had the big guns left at the back to put a bit of pressure on. It just didn't work.
Right. Well, Mick, if you'd like to just come a little bit close, stay with us, though, Kevin. Well, congratulations. It was you were on the losing side, weren't you, in 1993 against England? But was this a little bit of sweet revenge tonight?
Well, hey, what can you say? They're a fantastic side. They've won 3 world championships in a row, and we come here praying to God that we just get a chance. And we got lucky tonight, but God, I'm proud. What a fantastic mob of players. And to England, to beat the greatest team that I've ever seen, is just a great honour and fantastic.
To the winners, our congratulations, and the beautiful Embassy World Team Trophy goes to Australia and Mick Delahunty.
And a very good evening to you, and welcome to the Embassy World Pool Championships. Now, over the last 3 weeks, we've shown you coverage of the men's team and the individual event, and we thought it was about time we showed you some action from the ladies' tournament. And lined up for you tonight is the ladies' final, where Scotland's Sue Thompson takes on the French girl Rosalia Diliberto.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First frame, Rosalia Diliberto to break.
So the ladies take center stage here in Manchester. It's the 1996 World Pool Championship for the ladies.
Yellow ball pocket.
And to echo Suzanne's sentiments, we're going to be seeing the crowning of a new world champion this year for the first time since this event's inception. Linda Ledbetter, a beaten semi-finalist here, not going to be able to regain the crown, at least not this year. That's Rosalia Diliberto at the table, carrying the French flag. And yellow ball's in play for her. Somewhat of an underdog in many of the experts' eyes, and that really given the fact that her opponent Sue Thompson plays as a professional. And of course Sue Thompson as well, making her third appearance in this ladies' world final. No stranger to Sky Sports viewers. She's been on center stage before.
Red ball's in play.
So now for Sue Thompson representing Scotland, it's the Reds. And she got a little bit of a let-off there. I think Rosalia intended to cover the top left-hand corner as we look. But this is an opening for Sue. Now, I mentioned earlier that she's the only professional in the ladies' game. She competes with the men. Now, who better to be able to assess her performance than the #1 player on the UK tour? And I'm speaking about Keith Brewer. And I'm very happy to welcome Keith into the commentary box. Keith, we had a chance to briefly chat just before the break off here, and you echoed the sentiments of a lot of the pundits that follow this pool tour that felt that Sue Thompson really in with a big shout to take her first world crown.
Yes, good evening everyone. Now, I've known Sue for a lot of years and I know how much she wants to win this title, but she always felt that the one thing that was in her way was of course Linda. And then of course this year in the round robin section, Sue actually finished runner-up in her group, which meant that they had to play in the semi-final, which some people thought was a good thing and some thought was a bad thing. And I suppose from the game itself it was a good thing, because of course we've got a French lady involved, and she's a very nice young lady. She's been playing pool in the World Championships every year since I've been involved anyway, and I can honestly say I've seen her actually get better from year to year, Jim, and it's nice to see her in the final. I hope she really enjoys herself out there today.
Well, that's definitely the key. What a tremendous positional shot from Sue Thompson there. She looks to be spot on the last red. And just look at that. Didn't have much of a gap between the yellow and the black, and she's judged it perfectly. The long black disappears, and Scotland's Sue Thompson takes the first frame in this best of 13 ladies final. Just the sort of start that she would have wished for. And she did it in emphatic style. But Rosalia, when she missed this yellow, by some ways, and failing to block the pocket, the Reds were in a nice, inviting position for Sue Thompson. But what a good positional shot she played from this penultimate red onto the last one. Tremendous stuff. And there's what it's all about. Which one of these girls is going to be hoisting the hardware?
Second
Is it going to go across the channel
or
or just head up north? Sue Thompson breaks off. Nothing potted.
Open table.
Open table for the French girl, Rosalia Diliberto. Keith, have you ever met Sue Thompson in any of the men's ranking events?
Yeah, I do recall playing her once, actually, at the Pontins Pool Championships. I'm just trying to think if I've played her apart from that. And I beat her on that occasion. I went on to win the title, funny enough. But I have seen Sue play many of the top men players in some of the tournaments, and it can only be said, really, that she's a frightening prospect when she's in full flight, because I've seen her take some of the men apart. And they don't really relish having to draw her, you know.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, they're clapping there, and the reason for that being that she's virtually secured that pocket from Sue Thompson. So it's not all that bad, that miss. Deep in concentration.
Foul. 2 visits.
What she's done there, she's played a tactical foul, but she'll be very unhappy where she's left the white, because in these rules, if you don't leave your opponent seeing one of their own colour, it is a foul snooker. In this situation, she's got 2 options now. She can either have the white put back behind the line, or she can nominate any of Sue's yellows to be a 3-ball for the first shot. Now, I think she's clearly nominated the one that's over the pocket, which I think most players would do.
30 seconds
situation.
remaining.
If she does pot the yellow, she'll carry on with 2 visits on the reds. And that's an excellent shot there, because that was one of the awkward reds, and she's perfect on that. Just looking at the way the other reds lie, she may look for an out, but she's got one very awkward red to the right-hand side as we look. And this is this ball here. And this will be the stumbling block during this particular clearance.
Second visit.
Well, certainly Sue Thompson's strategy backfired there, as you aptly noted, Keith. She has 2 visits, so she's got a miss in hand. And she just used that second visit there, and now departs the table. But she's certainly gained the advantage.
And as we've seen in previous years, Jim, when Linda has played Sue, that one of the main objectives is she did use the rules to her advantage. She kept Sue tight and kept it on the tactical side, and that was really the difference at the end of the day. And I think Rosa has to be a little bit careful. She doesn't want to go too pot happy early on, and the fact that she's like covering a couple of the pockets up here, you know, she's using her head a little bit.
Well, certainly the strengths of Sue Thompson lie in her potting ability. That was very evident with how she took the opening frame. As well as there. But a lot of work to do. Those 2 yellow balls on the right-hand side of the table, somewhat awkwardly placed. actually on the one now, nearest the pocket. I wonder if she's going to elect to attack it. She's got a very confident demeanor around the pool table. This is a big shot. She's looking in good nick, Keith.
Yeah, she looks very confident, doesn't she? I've never seen her look so confident before. Whether that's because she isn't playing Linda today or not, I don't know, but she does definitely look very sharp at the table.
Well, this relatively simple black. And Sue Thompson certainly looking to be the favorite here, and why not? What a good potter she is. She's forged into a 2-frame to 0 advantage.
Yeah, I mean, she's 5-0 up and she's still psyched, isn't she? Really psyched.
Open table.
Well, Sue didn't see any balls find their way to pockets on that occasion, but she really has a stranglehold on this one. And if Rosalia is going to make any inroads in this 5-0 deficit, she's got to pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Well, it has to be said, they're all there, the yellows, this time as well. But when you're this far behind, it must be so difficult. I think she'll be just happy, Jim, just to get a frame on the board now in this match.
Well, they always say the most difficult ones to win are the first and the last. As yet, Rosalia is yet to open accounts in this final. I have to agree with you, Keith. I think she just wants to take it 1 frame at a time and 1 ball at a time. That's the sort of ability in potting that has brought her to this final.
I think that yellow was the big shot there because she's perfect position as well. And there's a lot of French people in the crowd here giving her a bit of support, so get ready for the roof to come off here.
Well, she's made this one look easy. And all credit. Down goes the black. And Rosalia Diliberto from France, as her fans and supporters urge her on. She's taken her first frame. Two reds down, Keith.
That's a great break, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic break there. Look at the power into that. She's potted 2 reds, Jim, but she'll be definitely going on yellows.
Yellow balls nominated. Yellow balls in play.
Well, the clearance here would pale in comparison to the one she's just completed. Yellows all in pottable positions. If anything, the only awkward ball is the last black. And there she is, Rosalia Diliberto. Hasn't had much to say in contesting this final. Sue Thompson from Scotland has been in sparkling form. And I think today she would have been a handful for even Linda Ledbetter, Keith.
30 seconds remaining.
Like I say, I've seen all this before, and she's got a good following today. She's got a couple of these Scottish girls come down to give her support, which is nice. But I spent many years on the exhibition circuit doing joint exhibitions with Sue, and she used to just like take on the men, and they couldn't believe how well she could pot. And I think we're seeing a good demonstration of this today.
The only stumbling block as she looks at this yellow still appears to be in the shape of the black. And the crowd is wondering, I'm sure, as are we, if Sue Thompson can get out from this position and become the 1996 champion.
It's like you said before, Jim, I think the only stumbling block will be the black. And I'm not sure how she's going to get good position on the black from here, and she is nodding her head. She's not quite happy where she's finished with the cue ball here. And the only pocket I can see it going in is probably the right-hand centre pocket. But how she will get the cue ball there, I believe we'll have to wait and see, Jim.
Well, certainly, if that red wasn't just to the left of the yellow, she could try and dislodge it, but I think that's just impeding the path of the cue ball. In with a chance. It would be some kind of pot to knock this in the right-hand center. It's there! Sue Thompson has done it. The clenched fist into the air. She's the 1996 Embassy World Ladies Champion. And Keith, in emphatic style.
Yeah, I think we have to say today, not only has Sue become the world champion, but she has shown us what the girl can actually do on the table. Absolutely outstandingly brilliant.
Big hug from Mum and Dad. And aren't they proud of her today? A fantastic finish, and Sue Thompson is the Embassy Ladies Whirlpool Champion for 1996.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First frame, Gary Cook to break.
And a very good day to you, and welcome back to the New Century Hall here in Manchester for the 1996 Embassy Whirlpool Championship. And as Suzanne said, this our first semi-final. You've caught us at the right time here on Sky Sports, and you've tuned into the right channel. It's Gary Cook from Guernsey in the Channel Islands, and his opposition in the form of Greg Farren from Ireland. And very early, Gary Cook, a ball in off the break, so his choice of color, it's an open table regardless of what color he makes off the break. So whichever one that he fancies, that'll be the ball in play. Well, questionable whether Gary has made the right choice. He's in with reds in play. And I don't think he'll be too happy with that shot. I think he intended to block the pocket there on Greg Farren. Both of these players at contrasting routes to the semifinal. Greg Farren, fairly comfortable win over Nigel Davis in the quarterfinal by virtue of a 9-5 victory, whereas Gary Cook had to scrape home 9-8 over England's Bill Hoven.
30 seconds remaining.
So it was an edge of the seater for him. Very big edge and experience to the Irishman. Little doubt in that. Greg Farren, a beaten finalist in this event, 1994. Whereas Gary Cook didn't get by the first round here last year. An 8-1 loser to England's Stacey Vine. He had his baptism in the televised stage in his quarterfinal encounter. He came through that one with flying colors. Very promising young player, 30 years of age. And right now, he looks in a very promising position. Just a quick look at where the black is situated. The two reds definitely at Gary's mercy. It looks like he's going to have to try and stun over, get that black into the bottom left corner as we look. So the position from this last red to black of utmost importance. Could have stood with about another 6 inches on the cue ball, but this is potable. And it looks good. It's there. Gary Cook opens accounts in the semifinal. It's a best of 19 affair, and he leads Greg Farren of Ireland by 1 frame to 0.
Good, Gary. Good, good.
A very disconsolate Greg Farren. Slow walk back to the chair. There were a couple twitches from Gary Cook in his quarterfinal match against Bill Hoven, where he showed a little bit of nerves on the televised stages, but that has not been the case today. He's looked every bit a worthy semifinalist here.
Carries on in this vein, he looks a worthy finalist to me. Will he just drop this in and put the black in the center, or doesn't it go in the center?
It doesn't look like it goes from our camera angle. I think he's got to just get through the gap here for the black into the same pocket.
What a superb shot.
Played like a champion. That's 3 frames in a row for Gary Cook. And that's the main reason that he leads Greg Farren from Ireland by 6 frames to 3 in this race to 10. And there you can see very clearly full pocket. So if he does decide to go for game here, he's going to need a good positional shot from this red to the one up the table. Not too sure that's advisable.
He may even have to choose to take it in the opposite corner. He may not have the angle to come back and get on it into the corner of the red spy. He may have to slide down the side cushion. He's caught the yellow, and as we thought, I wonder what he's muttering to himself.
It's not for television audiences.
And I think we're going to have another big double.
30 seconds remaining.
He's taking the cut on with a lot of check side. Pick the bones out of that one. That's a superb shot.
Well, Greg Farren has really been the master of comebacks in this tournament. And if he gets this black, and he does, the comeback complete here. He trailed 6-3 at one stage to Gary Cook. He's won the last three to level it at 6 apiece. 6 frames in a row the man from Ireland has taken. Completely turned this match around.
Open time.
We had a small discussion when Gary led 6-3. And we felt that it would be very difficult for Greg to win the next 10 frames 7-3. Well, he looks like winning it 7-0. I think he just wants to get out of there, Jim.
Well, he showed good resilience in his quarterfinal win over Bill Hoven.
Red ball's in play.
Very good opening red. Now, can it catapult him into staving off elimination here? He can't afford any more mistakes. No more miscues.
At some stage he's going to have to play an intricate shot. The balls are very close together. That's worked out well.
Just goes to show you, I would have just softly cannoned into the black to leave the red into the center. The way he's played it has completely opened the table up for him. All 3 reds available.
I'm not sure that was the right selection. I think the red into the other corner would have been better. But he's just managed to hold onto the red ball. But where's the black going?
The only possibility that I can see is trying to get a cannon off one of the yellows in potting the red to try and bring the cue ball back to the bottom half of the table as we look and leave the black on, but that's a tall order.
Foul.
And that could be the beginning of the end.
2 visits.
I think that could be the end of the end.
5 yellows.
Losing control of the white might well have cost Gary Cook a chance at lifting the crown here.
I think the big secret, Jim, is that he's lost control in his mind. The start of the match he was thinking so well, and now all of a sudden he was taking the balls in the wrong order. He was missing easy shots. And while his confidence has diminished, Greg's has got higher and higher. And now I should think Greg would like to stay on and play the final.
Well, that's certainly the nature of the beast, Alan. When your opponent starts to struggle, your confidence starts to grow. Right now, Greg Farren looking very much like a worthy finalist. He's got 4 remaining yellows and then the black to follow. And lest we forget, he's still got that 1 miss in hand. So if he does fall out of position, which isn't too likely, he can just lay it over the pocket.
.30 seconds remaining.
Two simple yellows. You can't help but be impressed by the way Greg Farren held himself together in this one. The challenge came hard and fast from Gary Cook. Once he answered back, he started to find the form that we all knew he was capable of. And there will be no upset in this semifinal. Down goes the black, and a very delighted Greg Farren. I'm certain he took the last 7 frames in a row to beat Gary Cook from the Channel Islands by 10 frames to 6, and he's through to the 1996 Embassy Whirlpool Final. Yes, and again, welcome back to Manchester, where global interest in 8-ball pool is focused firmly with Sky Sports' ongoing coverage of these 1996 Embassy Whirlpool Championships. It's the Blade versus the Basher. Terry Hunt from Sheffield versus Tony Holgate from Ireland. Not the ideal start for Terry Hunt.
Open table.
Cue ball finding its way to the corner pocket. So a good opening this for Tony Holgate. And didn't he provide us with some color in his quarterfinal match against Mark Goodwin? He's got a lot of flair and flamboyance. And there's no hesitation in displaying it. A very colorful performer is Holgate.
Red ball's in play.
And he's opted for the reds here. And he's certainly going to have his hands full with Terry Hunt. Terry Hunt himself, a semi-finalist in this event last year. So this year he wants to go one better, get through this semi-final clash with Holgate, and concentrate on the final. But right now it's the man at the table in control. And the reds nicely placed, save for that one just wedged in between the yellow balls there. I'll just let you know which one I'm talking about. That's probably the most awkward of the reds on the table. He's a dynamic potter, and he can manufacture winning positions from ones that appear hopeless, and that really is his strength. Now then, red to the top right. And how is he going to get the cue ball back over to the other side of the table for the black? Looks as though he's going to be looking at a double. So two very low percentage shots coming up for Tony Holgate.
Yellow's to play.
Well, he's looking a little mystified at that. It's certainly at his mercy if he gets another opportunity. And it's all about experience out there. I can tell you that I've got a lot of experience sat beside me in the commentary booth in the person of the Australian captain Mick Delahunty. And Mick, this is really going to be a tough one to call with Terry Hunt and Tony Holgate. And even though Tony's just got the one red on the table, Terry Hunt with many more options.
It's certainly looking that way, Jim. I did expect Terry to have a go at those, to tell you the truth, but he's played a very good shot. Snookered Tony, and just looking to get two shots if he can, I think. This should be a great match, in fact. Two great players.
Well, 2 visits.
Well, I think Tony wanted that a little closer to the red. He didn't want to leave Terry Hunt the opportunity to try and develop it. But he's given the 2 visits away. That's what happens when a foul is committed. The incoming player has the luxury of having a miss in hand. Wow. A useful fluke.
Certainly a little bit of luck by Terry, but I must admit I was a bit surprised that he didn't try to finish the game the shot before. He played the snooker when he had all his balls on, and of course then the basher just put his ball up near the red to make him waste one anyway. He still ended up in the same position, but had to get a bad ball out. So, but he's been lucky enough to fluke the ball, which now gives him 2 visits with everything out. So you'd expect Terry to finish here.
Second visit.
Wouldn't minded that yellow to have dropped, but you can see all 5 yellows in the center of the table, all in very potable positions. The only hurdle that he may have to get over could be that awkward black. but he's in command at this point. It's a best of 19 semi-final. First player to get to 10 will book a place into the final, and with it, a date with Ireland's Greg Farren. He was the winner of our first semi-final.
As you've said, Jim, he's cleaned up all the yellows, but he's still got to pot this black. You expect him to get it, but they're certainly missable shots.
And at this early stage, where the nerves haven't really settled, no doubt whatsoever, the blade from Sheffield, Terry Hunt, opens accounts here in the semi-final. He leads Tony Holgate from Ireland by 1 frame to 0.
Play this yellow down the cushion, I think, and get onto the one in the middle of the table into the bottom corner.
No problems. He had a larger pocket with that yellow at the bottom end of the table.
I think the only problem here is the score line rather than anything else, Jim. There's added pressure, of course, because he is 6-3 down.
And he's going to need a good positional shot here from the penultimate yellow to the last one. Well, he's taken the more difficult one, Mick.
Makes the black a lot easier, though, if he has happened to get this. He should get it. He's in the centre point. Great shot. You just pot this yellow into the corner and slide up for the black into the pocket. He's just potted the yellow. Just a little bit of right-hand side needed, I think, Jim, just to come off the bottom cushion and slide over towards the side cushion to make certain he doesn't snooker himself behind the red.
Has he come far enough? Well, if he has, it's only just.
He's looking at it with concern, but no, he's going down, so it must be on, I think.
A delighted Tony Holgate breaking out, and he's really trying to spur himself on. You can see him exhorting himself there. Trailing Terry Hunt 6-4.
13th frame, Terry Hunt to break with the frame score at 6 frames all.
Well, the comeback is complete. Now he's got to carry the momentum on. 2 reds in for Terry Hunt, and just look at the position of the remaining 5. Couldn't have scripted this one any better.
Well, you'd expect him to go game here, that's for sure, but hey, you still have to do the work. There's always, as you've said a few times, Jim, it's easy from here.
But it would be a monumental mistake, given the position of the remaining reds, if Terry Hunt didn't clear up from here. The black in the middle of the table, readily available. And lots of interested spectators. There's Lee Kendall and the England team manager, Alan Bartlett, just above him. And there's your man, from Australia in the blue jacket there, bearded fellow, Lance Sheen, I believe.
Yes, he's the World 8-Ball Pool Federation president. He's actually no longer on the Australian committee, so although he's an Australian, we can't claim him as anything to do with our pool association now. He's the world president, so.
Bigger and better things. And that's just what Terry Hunt's looking for right now when he gets this black. A tremendous breaking out from the English representative in these World Championships, and just look at him. A very rare show of emotion from Terry Hunt. He now leads Tony Holgate by 7 frames to 6. All 7 reds still on the table for Terry Hunt. But you can bet that Tony Holgate didn't want him to have the chance. He's still in a very strong position, though, is Tony.
Looks to me like Terry's going to try and get on this bad red straight away. He tried to use a lot of side and come below the red, but it's he just hit it a little hard and the side didn't take. So, as you say, he's now in a very difficult situation. I think he's got to be looking for a snooker somewhere, Jim. Maybe pot the red in the middle, go up the top and snooker behind those 2 reds.
Yes, if he takes this red, brings the cue ball down into this area, he can play a snooker from this red.
It's pretty good, Jim. You just stun off this red in behind the other 2.
Well, he had options there, Mick, but we had the game plan read right. It was just a matter of how he was going to do it.
Certainly a great shot. You wouldn't expect Tony to miss this, though, and really with this bad red down the side cushion here, all Tony has to do is make certain he hits this. Not only has he hit it, he's just about potted it. Oh, he has. Sneaking himself, though. A little bit unlucky.
Good news, bad news.
Couldn't do it again, could he? Off the side cushion, try and pot it into the same pocket.
Another look. It would have been great had that yellow stayed over the pocket, but with it going in, it's made life a little bit more difficult for Tony Holgate. He may have to swerve around this red. But the referee is having a very good look at whether or not he can get through to it.
Seconds remaining.
Has to be careful here. If you give this too much swerve, it's very easy to follow this yellow in, Jim. Well, he's a chance here. Really, this is on up the top, and Tony's such a great potter. You wouldn't expect him to miss from here.
Well, 2 shots away. He's 9-8 in front. Desperately wants this yellow. And it looks there. Now then, the biggest black of Tony Holgate's life. He's there! Tony Holgate is through to the final! A 9-8 scoreline, and he's taken it to a 10-8 victory, and just look at him. Excitement, well, that personified. He's a winner through to the final, where he'll be facing his countryman, Greg Farren.
Tonight will be an all-Irish affair as Greg Farren takes on his fellow teammate and close friend Tony Holgate. Now, they've had a marvellous run up to this final, and they've both made some remarkable comebacks in both their quarter-final and semi-final matches. Well, the one thing we know for sure is that this will belong to Ireland tonight. Our commentator, as usual, is Jim White, but first let's go over to our MC for this evening to introduce the players into the arena, and that is, of course, Mr. Alan Hughes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to welcome first the officials, the timekeeper Ron Madden, and the only Englishman left in the tournament, international referee Marshall Mortar. And now to the players, and first from the Emerald Isles, a man who was recently a finalist in the 1996 European Championships, and what an opportunity this is to go one better and capture the biggest prize of all. Unbelievable, unpredictable. Here's one of Paul's outstanding entertainers. Ladies and gentlemen, on the centre stage, will you welcome, please, Tony the Basher Holgate. Tony's opponent, a young Irishman having a tournament player's dream of, and in defeating 5 top-class opponents, he has now given him a great chance of winning this coveted title that so narrowly eluded him in 1994. Ladies and gentlemen, into the Embassy World Pool Arena, will you welcome, please, the Professor himself, Greg Farren.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. First frame.
And Irish eyes will be smiling tonight because it's an Emerald Isle affair between two of its pool-playing sons. Well, welcome to Sky Sports coverage of this final in the 1996 Embassy World Pool Championship. It's all come down to this. Great friends off the table, but fierce competitors on it. Tony Holgate and Greg Farren. It's a best of 21 final here. And right now, the man at the table, the basher, Tony Holgate, thanks to a couple balls being knocked in off the break, in with the first opportunity. Having said that, pretty messy in the center of the table. Number of balls awkwardly placed.
Yellow ball to play.
And our first look now at Tony Holgate's compatriot, Greg Farren. He's been to center stage here before. In 1994, a losing finalist on that occasion.
Seconds remaining.
But they call him the Professor. Slow and measured is his approach. Does nothing in haste. And basically, you'll see no careless mistakes for Mr. Farren. If he misses, it's genuine.
30 seconds remaining.
As Greg maneuvers around the yellow balls, he's still got a lot of work to do. That one just below the black, awkwardly placed. Looks like he's looking at the plant here. It certainly has to be made. Doesn't look on.
30 seconds remaining.
He wants to try and manufacture an opening here for himself. See a way clear to take this opening frame. These two players, vastly experienced on the UK Pro Tour. And I feel very fortunate indeed to have a man sat beside me who runs that UK Pro Tour
30
himself,
seconds remaining.
the England team manager, Mr. Alan Bartlett. Alan, we were having a little word together just before the kicked off here. This is really going to be a tough one to call. Real contrast in styles. But how do you see this going?
It's anybody's guess, Jim. Go either way. But it is noticeable that Greg has gone straight for the jugular. He could have easily laid a ball over the top corner in this frame. Tony went in, potted 3 balls. The rest of his balls weren't in good positions. Greg hasn't decided to sit back. He's gone straight in there and looked for the clearance.
Seconds remaining.
He looks spot on there. It seems that Greg thinks, or indeed knows, that the yellow by the black will come into the top corner pocket, or the bottom corner pocket as you look.
I mentioned that Greg was in the final once before, 2 years ago. He suffered a sound beating on that occasion, going down 9 frames to 3 at the hands of the Welshman Rob McKenna. Desperately wants to go one better this year. There's the situation, Alan, and it looks like the yellow will pass, and he might be able to just stun that cue ball over for the black into the center pocket. But does it pass?
If it doesn't pass the red that it's touching, we may see Greg just dropping behind it and putting it into the top corner pocket as we look. It obviously passes into the center. And this has been a very confident start from Greg Farren, in complete contrast to his semi-final match. And if you look at his face, he does look very focused this evening.
Never any doubt. It's the experience of Greg Farren, seeing him home in the opening frame here in this best of 21 men's world final. He leads Tony Holgate by the odd frame 1-0.
12th frame, Greg Farren to break, leading 6 frames to 5. Open table.
Open table for Tony Holgate.
Yellow balls for Tony. The one difficult yellow is the one behind the black. He tried to nudge it from the pot. It hasn't moved far enough. And it could prove very difficult to get on.
.30 seconds remaining.
Once again, not the best of angles from Tony. This is a lot thinner cut than it looks. He's taken the yellow ball into the centre. Which ball he's going to attempt to drop on, I'm not
2
certain.
seconds remaining.
I think he's looking at the straight one into the bottom left. Alan, the one you suggested might have opened the frame up for him. So he's still got that work to do.
Yes, he's took away the ball, which would have made it easier to take the bad yellow from behind the black. Tony's just going to get one throw of the dice in a second. He's going to drop the yellow into the centre, and then when he forces the yellow into this bottom corner, he's got to free the black or free the last yellow. He'll be running this white through just a couple of inches. He's ended 2 straight. I'm not certain he can move anything. Perhaps the yellow flies into the corner. He's been teasing us all along. It certainly does.
Still, position from yellow to the final black.
If he dribbles this, he could overrun. He may try and stun into the red. He's gone all the way down the bottom of the table. He can get his hand on the table, and he should get this black.
Oh, that is a tremendous shot. And what a terrific breaking out for Tony Holgate. Under pressure, he produces the goods. Tony Holgate 6, Greg Farren 6. Obviously buying some more time with that shot. Just a containing one, stopping the red from passing into the bottom right as we look.
Greg will just move the red off the side cushion. Knock it over the centre or knock it into the middle of the table.
.30 seconds remaining.
How risky that shot was. It would have been so easy for the white ball to end up in the centre pocket. If the 2 yellow balls by the centre do plant into the middle pocket, then he may be playing the double.
Seconds remaining.
And much to everybody's surprise, it's Tony Holgate who starts the safety play. Just trying to put a little pressure onto Greg, who's 8-6 behind. It seems to be working. Greg may be the professor, but at the moment, Tony Holgate's the master student. And a very good shot.
He's dictating the proceedings right now. The professor has become the student.
A smile. Have we seen one of those tonight?
I think that's the first one that Tony's provided us with.
30 seconds remaining.
He's been very intense throughout. I think Greg Farren could win the lottery, and you might just get a smile from him. That was a good red, but the obvious problem, the black.
I believe Greg's going to try and pot the 3 red balls and come up the side of the table and put the black into this bottom corner pocket what's free.
Ideally, if he can come down into this area to be able to play the black over in the far corner. But that's a ways away.
And over the pocket might not be good enough, because Tony has the option, if the black's left in that pocket, to double the yellow ball back across. He has a yellow ball covering the other corner pocket. This is a perfect angle. He needs to leave the slightest of angles on that last red ball. Too far.
That's the angle that last red presents him with now. Very difficult.
I think he may just have the angle to come around the bottom corners.
Position plus. You won't see any better cue ball control than that.
It's played with just the slightest bit of left-hand side to take it around the bottom corners, and this is perfect. It's there.
And a tremendous finish for Greg Farren. He produced it when he needed it. He was 8-6 down, won that one. He's pulled it back. He trails 8 frames to 7 against Tony Holgate. Tony Holgate breaking off now.
Red ball potted.
Got a red off the break, so it's an open table.
Yellow ball's nominated.
And he's nominated the yellows. And really, the only awkward ball for him is the one nearest the bottom cushion as we look.
That was a very careless shot from Tony. He's knocked a yellow along the top cushion. And since he's got no other balls at that top end, it could be difficult to get onto. Well, he's got the angle now. He'll be dropping up there. But what a difficult shot it's going to be to get from the yellow at the top to the yellow over the bottom with an angle to disturb the one bad yellow.
He might have a slight angle on this yellow. But the big shot is really going to come on the next one. He's having a look now Well, it looks as though he's got too much of an angle to be able to cut this yellow back into this pocket. But certainly the angle would open the other yellow. Was always going to be risky.
Yes, it's difficult to call that shot unlucky.
Total snooker.
If he'd have landed on the yellow, you'd have had to call it lucky. It was in the lap of the gods. The luck of the Irish falls the way of Greg Farren on this occasion.
Well, the way he's having a look, he can obviously get to this cushion. So he's checking out the angle to try and bump the yellow back over into this middle pocket. What a shot that would be.
We saw Greg Farren do this twice in his semi-final.
He didn't miss it by much.
Red balls to play.
And for once, are we going to see a safety shot? Will Greg go for finish? Or will he drop off the edge of the red on this bottom cushion and leave the white in the corner?
Well, a faint heart never won a fair lady, Alan.
50 seconds remaining.
Done exactly what I thought he may. Pull the white ball in next to the red and the black. Tony cannot just touch the edge of the red. It'd be too easy for Greg. He's got to go to hit the yellow. And the way this game's gone forwards and backwards, what odds he pots it, Jim?
What odds he hits it, Alan? I think he's going something to hit the yellow.
He's got 2 bites of the cherry. If he doesn't hit it on the way in, he could hit it on the way out. It's gone off the 3. What a great shot. How unlucky that was. But he has put the pressure on Greg. Greg's got to pull out a big pot. And he only has one side of the table to get on the last red as well. This is a knee trembler.
30 seconds remaining.
That was pressure. He was really under it. That good hit from Tony Holgate forced Greg Farren into taking on that red and forced him into going game, and I don't think he was ready to do that.
What Tony's looking at is he's got to leave himself with long black. He'd like to get close to it, and he looks like he's going to attempt to get close, but this could be risky. Could be bumping into the red.
That's the best he could do from that position. Black to the bottom right.
He's been so clinical on these pots, and the ones into the center. We expect him to get it, but this isn't easy.
The pressure balls have gone Tony Holgate's way. Greg Farren missed one. Tony Holgate didn't. That's the reason Holgate now leads 9 frames to 8.
He's just got to be careful he doesn't follow the red with the white. He just wants to break away.
Foul.
He's short.
2 visits.
And that's just what Farren was worried about. He thought the white ball would travel too far. Tried to get his yellow just to drop into the corner pocket.
You know, that's one thing that our previous guest in the commentary box, Mick Delahunty, alluded to several times. How slow the pace of the table seemed to be playing. That's not the first time we've seen Greg Farren fall short on a pot.
30 seconds remaining.
The first time it cost him dearly. Is this going to be a repeat performance?
How do you like that? Those 2 balls that ran short, if he were to lose, have cost him the world title. Big shot Tony's just played. It's given him the chance to clear up. He has the spare visit. And all of a sudden, from looking 10-9 down, he can go 10-9 up.
30 seconds remaining.
Three reds remaining. Position on every one of them imperative. He still has that security in his mind of knowing that even should a miss come in, he's still got his second visit that he can put into play. But that does nothing to take away from the pressure of the situation. Pretty straight on this red. He's going to have to develop the black with his one visit. I don't think you'll be seeing him shoot this at pace. This is either in or over the pocket.
It's in.
There's the emotion. Come on, Tony. He's trying to push himself toward the finish line. He's one frame away. Tony Holgate leading now 10 frames to 9 over Greg Farren. And there it is. Down to 1 frame. A very appreciative and knowledgeable
21st
crowd.
and final frame. Tony Holgate to break.
Have been treated
Frame scores
to the best
10 all.
final that this championship has ever seen.
Open table.
Look at his face. The pressure of the moment etched all over it.
At most, that's the second time Tony hasn't potted a ball in the final from his break. And now he has to sit and suffer while Greg has a go at these yellow balls.
30 seconds remaining.
Have we seen the last twist in the tail of this Embassy World Championship final?
Well, he's in control of his
Yellow
own
ball's in
fate
play.
right now. This would be a bitter pill to swallow for Tony Holgate. I think the heat of the moment. Certainly evident.
There's a wry smile at the back of Farren's face at the moment.
Pressure in every stroke now.
What a superb shot.
The loneliest position in any game of billiards, and easily the most helpless. If Greg Farren decides to take that yellow down the right-hand cushion, it could well
30 seconds remaining.
be the stepping stone to lift the trophy.
He still has problems to get from the two yellows on this bottom cushion. And it looks like that's worked out well. If he can put the one in that he's very close to, it'll be very simple to take the yellow into the bottom right-hand pocket, leave an angle on the yellow in the center to get on the black. The black will only pass into one bottom corner pocket.
Well, I'm from the old school, Alan, and in this position, and given the pressure of the situation, I don't think it could be simple enough.
Remaining.
I wonder how simple they think it is. Rosalia Diliberto there, ladies finalist, looking on, and I'm sure enjoying every moment, as are we.
Here's the big shot. Pot the yellow ball into the top corner by the looks of it now. Find his way onto the yellow in the bottom corner, and then the black into the center. Opposite choice. He isn't happy with the angle. This is tough. And it's still tough.
I think had he taken the yellow, you suggested being left-handed, he would have been able to play the yellow last that he just played now, come right around behind the back of the black. So easy to say from the commentary booth.
If he takes the yellow into the opposite center, then he's got a very small area for the white.
He's got to bring the cue ball back into this area to leave the black on.
He just needs to slide past the red in the middle of the table, and he'll be on that black. It sounds so simple, and it is so difficult. And how do you fancy this shot for the world title?
Couldn't be more difficult. Is Tony Holgate going to get another chance? Greg Farren looking at the title black. It's there. Greg Farren has done it. He's won the last two frames, and a hug from two good friends. It's been a monumental struggle, and it provided us with an epic final. Greg Farren, an 11-10 winner, the 1996 Embassy Whirlpool champion. You've seen it all here on Sky Sports, and it doesn't get any better than that. The ladies' champion, Sue Thompson, shaking the hand of the men's champion, Greg Farren.
Congratulations to you both. But Greg, I've got to say, it was a hard battle, fought and won, and he certainly put up a great fight, didn't he?
He certainly did, but I didn't feel it.
The legs have gone a bit wobbly, have they?
They went wobbly about an hour ago. No, a lot of people know we're playing the Irish team. We're great mates. Over the past 12 months, I'm a little bit older than Tony, only a little. Over the past 12 months, we've had a lot of chats. We share rooms together when we go to tournaments.
All right, steady.
But
now you're giving away all your secrets here, Greg.
I know. But, we sit and we chat about the game and that, and Tony said to me about 12 months ago that he wanted to sort of really get to the top. I mean, he's a top player anyway, but he wanted to really get to the top. We had chats about it, and I hope and I think it did. It helped Tony in some small way, and I think, it's proved that tonight, and I think I wish I hadn't have told him anything now.
Well, do stay with us, but let's have a quick word with Tony. You were so evenly placed here tonight, Tony, and there were really no rooms for mistakes, but a few mistakes crept in for both of you, really, though, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure in a major final like this. I mean, it's the first time I've been in a world final, and I got a bit twitchy towards the end. I think I'm going to have to change the rules next year and make it first to 10 in the final. Done for me. No, but I've really enjoyed the week, and I'd like to thank everybody for the support this week. Brilliant. All of you. Fantastic.
Absolutely. They certainly appreciated it. Well, gentlemen.
They're the best supporters in the land.
Well, I think most of them will agree with you, and I think you're both winners here tonight, and Ireland has every reason to be proud of you. But let's now go over to our MC, Alan Hughes, for tonight's presentation.
And it is wages time right now, and to the runner-up is a cheque for £3,000, and our congratulations for a great tournament, and this goes to Tony Holgate. And now to a very worthy winner, a cheque for £6,000, the lovely trophy here, and better than that, the title of the 1996 Embassy World Pool Champion, Greg Farren.
Well, as Greg celebrates his victory here tonight, it just remains for me to say thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage over the last 3 weeks here on Sky Sports. We've certainly seen some thrills and spills. We've seen some of the top names go out of this tournament in the early rounds, and we've also seen 2 new world champions. Let's not forget, last night we saw Scotland's Sue Thompson taking her first ever world title. Well, from all of us here in Manchester, I bid you good night and leave you in the capable hands of Greg Farren, our 1996 men's world champion. Good night.